Now, are there any major changes that you really want to point out on this version?
There's actually a little bit too much to list. I basically took Mill CE and I stripped it down to bare bones. And then I literally just got a lot of feedback from the community and just built it from ground up. Play tested a lot of it. Completely changed many aspects of this map. More for the competitive scene as far as being able to smoke and flashes, because that's a real big thing with CS:GO now is your smokes. I mean, you have to be able to smoke from pretty much everywhere. So I really took that into account with a lot of the SA1s and whatnot. So once we're ready here, I can kind of give you a brief explanation on basically everything I did. Obviously, it's going to look completely different, but I did it more for the competitive aspect of it.
Awesome. Now, the stream is up. You are on video. So if you could walk around and show us some really neat things that you've changed up with the map.
All right. So I mean, obviously, as you can see, things are much more brighter. Was working very heavily on the lighting, just to make sure that it was very bright, because Mill CE, everyone knows it was pretty dark, and people didn't really like all the contrasting colors. So basically, I retextured the entire map, and I tried to add some detail, but uh, players really aren't interested in detail. They want more of a fluid map that they're not going to get constantly stuck on crap that they're trying to either they're flashbang or trying to run through smoke and get smoked and get stuck on something like this. So basically, everything that I have that is in the playing field is either a box or it's something that you can run through. It's just basically more visual based. Um, but as you can see, basically everything is brightened up. You can't self boost onto the kitty box anymore. It's actually going to have to require a boost. You can still, however, self boost on the boxes at A, and you can also still basically boost up on here. However, these boxes are now smaller, so CTs can't actually pick mid. And the reason I kind of did that was I'm trying to make this more of a T-sided map. I'm trying not to give the CTs a complete advantage of the higher ground all the time on multiple levels. So one of the main changes I made was to SA1, and basically I opened it up. It's not a little small box warehouse anymore. It's now a complete basically playing field, and I created it like this because I wanted the T's to be able to maneuver and also be able to smoke and throw flashes over the buildings now into sight. So now you can actually smoke from SA1. You can actually smoke mid, and this is I was really testing this out, especially in game, where you're actually able to smoke off the opper in mid here, giving the ability for anybody who's in mid to actually be able to push up if they don't want to basically try to peek the opper that's either probably going to be back at CT spawn or maybe even over here. But it also gives the opportunity to smoke your split here in the A site without actually having to push up Kitty, where most likely you're either going to get spotted by a CT that's going to be looking down on Kitty or whatnot. So it allows the Ts to have a little bit more fluid and a little bit more dynamic gameplay with that. Also, as you notice, the mid I developed is a lot larger. It's not as claustrophobic. And again, with that, it changes a lot of peak angles. With CTs on, especially on ecos, you notice a lot that CTs would just rush mid, and that most likely worked out a lot because of the fact that CTs were pretty well covered. Because they would be able to flash into SA2, or they would just be able to flash into SA1, and then they would easily be able to pick off a pick. But with the peak angles now, T's actually have the advantage on mid right away because, as you know, T spawn is here. You actually have a peak angle looking right into mid, so you're not going to be completely blindsided by an entire team rushing in there. As you know, SA2 is completely changed as well. I opened it up, a lot more brighter lighting, and also when I go over here, as if anybody who knows Mill, there used to be a door here that would lead into T spawn. That was basically completely unusable in gameplay. So what I did was I connected the two SA1 and SA2 together for quicker rotates for Ts and CTs. So you can basically fluidly rotate very quickly for T or CT to get to either SA1 or SA2. Again, this is the new way that I added for the bomb site B from T-Spawn. So there's two sections here. This first section I wanted to add for the T's to give them a little bit more of an advantage on Spiral, because everyone knows that Spiral is pretty crappy for a T. The CTs could always have that pick on you before you can actually see them. So now T's actually have a window here that actually overlooks Spiral into B site. Again, you can actually, as a CT or T, you can jump up here into the window. And this new way, I basically wind up this doorway here. I got rid of the railing, so you can't actually be picked off in the head from a CT actually in B site, which was very, very common and very hard complaint for some of the players of Counter-Strike. So I basically added this stone wall here. Again, brightened everything up. Took out the two big boxes, added these boxes here for basically some push-up cover, as well as added these windows here to be able to basically flash and smoke into sight from cover. A big thing was that inside a B site, there's generally always a CT up in the little sniper nest. Now, I added these little window frames to be able to to be able to actually flash up into there. So it gives the T's to actually come up and take out the guy that's up inside. Again, as you notice that if you've ever played MilCE, this has changed dramatically as well, because it's not so OP as before, where there's a railing here that you're able to pick off of, and it was extremely hard to see you. And again, I added this bottom section so it stops you from actually coming back here and be able to make that peak, because it was extremely hard. Obviously, everything is retextured. All the windows are breakable, so you can flash out, you can smoke out, or retake sight the same way as a CT. Coming back this way, again, everything has kind of changed as far as texture-wise. Everything's more bright. All this is pretty much the same. It just looks a little different. You can actually jump up here just like before. CPL house is still the same. Nothing has really changed. Just lower the railing so you can actually jump over it now. A big improvement has been on this grate area. Now, if you remember that there's generally a lot of boxes that were here that were really just useless. It just kind of confined Z, where you just kind of felt a little claustrophobic, especially coming around the corner. So what I did was I basically got rid of all of these boxes, added a double stack box, and so as a CT you can actually push out, and you can even peek out from back here. But again, you can flash and smoke sight still in cover, but still be able to push up a little bit without having to basically go around the boxes and pretty much be completely exposed all on, around this area here. And again, I basically moved the double stack boxes here, so it gives you more of some wiggle room here in grate, as well as put a light there so it's brightened up. So as a T, you're able to see a CT there much easier. It's not as dark, as well as doing some contrasting on the wall here for any type of T, basically so he's not head peeking over here into CPL. You can actually clearly see him on the wall. A very big change. I will show you. Again, I removed basically all of the clips as far as Skybox. So most of everything that you can see here, you can basically smoke and flash into sight without hitting any type of visible walls. And mainly I did that only because of the fact that, again, with Counter-Strike, Go, it's very heavily on being able to throw and smoke, flash over walls without being seen. A huge improvement that I have done is in sewers, and people will realize that this doesn't look like the old sewers. It actually looks like sewers. I opened up the bottom entrance here significantly. Obviously, I changed the location of the ladder, so you can actually get up much quicker. instead of facing the wall or having to go up diagonally. And sometimes people were complaining the fact that they kept getting stuck because the exit wasn't large enough. So, for the fat people, I basically opened it up, and now you actually have the ability to smoke and flash and even nade the actual site itself from the sewers. So there's a guy who's going to be in sewers is actually an asset now, because he can actually help the guys on Kitty by flashing or smoking in cover and being able to rush as a team, and this guy just not be completely picked off every time he tries to go up the ladder. And now the ladder, the sewer area, is now basically a straight shot that basically brings you right up into the original spot, which was in SA1, which is right here. So, as you can see, all this stuff is basically blocked up. That was the old the entrance to SA1. And here's T-Spawn. So basically, I was really working heavily on my timings and the different types of peaks that this map has to offer, that I noticed that were just kind of hinting more towards the CT side. So I really tried to open it up and allow Ts to really do some fluid and dynamic gameplay that would kind of throw the CTs off balance by adding, little things make a huge difference with a Counter-Strike map. And that's what I was really trying to achieve. And with the rigorous playtesting that we've had, I mean, it was pretty damn balanced. We didn't really favor towards one side at all, unless there's a player that was obviously dominating on the other side. Just for a solid, 5v5, it was very, very clean, very competitive map that turned out very, very nice.
Moo, can you comment on the wall banging?
Yeah, as far as wall banging and how, because most of B site there is a lot of wall bangs, obviously, because all these is pretty much metal. The box up here, obviously, if a CT wanted to come up here, this entire thing is wall banged. So as a T as well, you can also spam that. Is there other wall bangs that you would? That's really the only wall bang that's here, because most of all the stuff is concrete. So.
Yeah, if that entire thing was wall bangable, that'd be probably the worst bomb site.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, we're planning, hopefully within the next week. We're still finishing up the server testing, but we're gonna put up a couple public servers with the map for people to just join and have fun on.
You gonna put it up for public download somewhere?
I think so, but we'd rather, put it on our server first. It's going to download instantly anyways.
Yeah, we can go that way, but...
Yeah, and that way, pretty much setting up as beta, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, as of right now, I mean, this is still in beta. It is a very, very polished version. Like I said, there's been rigorous play tests of its stability. However, there are going to be some things that do need to be addressed, and that's what we need the feedback from the community as they play it. Say, hey, I think that maybe this box should be moved, or hey, maybe there should be a box added here, or something needs to be changed. And I'm definitely open to that. I made this map for the community because I think the map pool obviously is not the greatest. However, with the new CalR League, this was just basically my first step of basically revamping a map to have something new and stylish for people to play. And, I do have my own original work that I'm actually finishing up on that's going to be with CalR as well. So you can definitely be excited the fact that there will be a nice map pool, more maps, and, a lot better gameplay.
Awesome. Actually, I'm reading through the chat. I've been watching the whole time we've been going through this. And it looks like you may have some feedback from a few people saying that it's broken. So, yeah. So if those people could point out any issues, you could be the first contributors to helping out with the the beta map.
Oh, I'm definitely open to it.
Yeah,
the more feedback, the better.
Oh yeah, and the way I'm looking at it, I
true.
always cringed looking at whenever the map would change to mill, especially if I was on T side.
Yeah, I mean, T-side has never always been a great mill. You know what I mean? Obviously, Tuscan had a great idea as far as just adding the second way to be, and then obviously, basically just changing the sewers area to a more fluid, door. Obviously I could have done that. I could have basically made almost a carbon copy and changed a few things and called it a completely different map name. But I wanted to keep sort of the Cal influence. I still wanted to keep the sewer. However, the B site did have to be changed, only because of the fact that, Spiral was so hard to take. I mean, at 1.6, I mean, it just was not feasible for you to go B because you only had Spiral as your option coming up a crappy ladder. Unless you wanted to spend 2 minutes going all down through sewers and trying to come up there. So, again, like I said, I mean, this is something that I've been working on. Built it for basically from the ground up, and I'm still looking for feedback from the community when they play it to say, hey, I think this should be changed, or I think this will help gameplay. And I'm definitely open to all those options.